The landlord entered the apartment and found the scene unchanged. The phone still playing, the stool...
No! 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 Talk about the worst case scenario. You know what? The worst death isn't through, I don't know, drowning or burning alive or whatever. It's truly from gooning, falling from the stool that you were specifically gooning on for some reason. And then... And then you die, and then your landlord comes in and sees the goddamn video, and you with your D out, okay, and you're dead on the floor. GG. Whoa, what is up? YouTube! Bomba. Nice to see you guys again. Today we shall be reacting to another video. This time, the worst gooner deaths ever. Now, as a gooner myself, right? As a big gooner myself, I know that sometimes gooning too much can be bad for you, okay? So guys, don't goon to the point where you're actually dying, okay? Okay, goon responsibly, okay? So let's dive right into this video. Let's see how people have died to the gooning incidents. All right.
Gooning incident. On June 14th, 1994, a 38-year-old man...
The asphyxiation gooning incident. Now, we've got a 38-year-old right here.
Left his small home in Asheville, North Carolina, telling his family he was going for an evening walk to clear his mind. He often visited a wooded area behind a local park when he wanted privacy, and the route was familiar enough that no one thought much of it. Clad in casual outdoor clothing and carrying a small backpack, he walked into the tree line just before sunset, disappearing into the dense, quiet forest. As daylight faded, he ventured farther off the main path than usual, eventually stopping in a secluded clearing about 50 yards from the trail. He set down his backpack, removed several personal items, and began preparing an arrangement using a rope tied between two sturdy trees. The setup appeared practiced, done with deliberate care, suggesting this was not the first time he had been in this spot or engaged in this ritual. As night deepened, the man engaged in a sequence that involved controlled pressure and suspended positioning. At some point during the process, however, he shifted his weight incorrectly or misjudged the timing. The rope system, meant to allow controlled release, failed to do so once he lost consciousness. The moment he blacked out, his body became completely...
What the actual heck? Why the hell are you doing? Why the hell are we doing this, bro? What? How did we get here? Oh my god, I just noticed the little third leg hanging off to the side of the goddamn stick, man. I can't. I actually can't, dude. No goddamn way he did that.
Unsupported. Without the ability to adjust himself or break free, he remained suspended in a kneeling position, slumped forward and unable to breathe. Hours passed, and the forest remained quiet and undisturbed. The next afternoon, on June 15th, a group of hikers walked along the same trail, taking advantage of the warm weather. About half an hour into the hike, one of them noticed something odd. When they moved closer and saw the unmoving posture of the kneeling figure, they realized something was wrong. They immediately called 911.
Imagine you are just like chilling, having a hike, right? Just chilling and doing your own stuff, having a good old time on the hiking trail, and all of a sudden, between like trees, you suddenly see somebody with a rope like attached to both of the goddamn trees and a rope around his, you know, and then you see his pee-pee out. What the? How do you even handle that? How do you even, like, you're shocked, right? You're shocked, first of all, because the guy's probably dead. Most likely dead. He's got his pee-pee out. How could this have happened? First of all, you think about, like, all the possibilities of, oh my god, somebody could have killed him. Or you wouldn't have thought immediately to, oh my god, this guy gooned himself to death, right?
When paramedics arrived, they confirmed he had been dead for many hours. Investigators recognized the pattern as a classic case of accidental death during a private, high-risk solitary act of gooning. The Goonside incident.
Solitary active gooning. Wow, beautiful. 10 out of 10. Now, we've got the goon incident.
On January 8th, 2025, a 27-year-old man named Nautica Malone drove his sedan into the drive-through lane of Bikini Beans Coffee in Tempe, Arizona.
Bikini Beans Coffee. I love that name. I don't know why. It just reminds me of SpongeBob. It just reminds me of SpongeBob.
Just after 7 a.m. He had left home unusually early that morning, according to his family, saying he needed fresh air and a change of scenery. As he approached the service window, a barista preparing for the morning rush noticed him rolling forward at a slow, measured pace. When he reached the window, she greeted him, expecting a routine order. But within seconds, she realized Nautica had no pants on. She pulled out her phone and began...
Excuse me? Yo, you're at the McDonald's drive-thru. You go like, all right, sir, what you want? He goes, 10-piece chicken nugget. You already gotta question yourself. You go like, oh, okay, that's kind of weird. Anyways, yeah, sure, go ahead. Drive to the next window. And then all of a sudden, you see him in his car. The window rolled down, no pants on. The pee-pee's out. What do you do? What do you do? What do you do? She just takes out her phone and starts photographing him.
And recording the encounter, capturing the man's quiet, vacant expression as he sat behind the wheel. The video lasted only a few seconds before the car eased forward and exited the lane. The clip was shared privately at first, circulating among co-workers, but by late afternoon, it had been forwarded again and again until someone uploaded it to social media. Within hours, it was widely circulating across multiple platforms, gathering captions, jokes...
The Gooner Among Us! Gooner, Goon Lord. Bro could have used his imagination, by the way.
Jokes and commentary. Over the next 2 days, Malone withdrew from friends and family. According to relatives, he stayed mostly in his room, leaving only briefly to pick up mail or get water. He ignored calls from co-workers, disabled several of his social media accounts, and stopped responding to messages. His brother later told reporters that the shame and public attention seemed to overwhelm him almost instantly. And on the morning of January 11th, Malone left home quietly. He drove west toward Goodyear, Arizona, taking a long, looping route along the highway, avoiding busier exits. At some point during the drive, he called his brother, but the call went unanswered. When the brother returned the call minutes later, it rang without response. Just after 3 p.m., a passerby walking through a quiet parking area near a small business park noticed a black sedan parked at an odd angle beneath a tree. The engine was off and the driver inside appeared completely still. The passerby approached slowly and tapped on the window, but there was no movement. Alarmed, they dialed 911 and reported an unresponsive person in a vehicle. Police and paramedics arrived within minutes. After forcing the door open, responders determined Malone had died from a self-inflicted gunshot wound, with the estimated time of death several hours earlier. A firearm was recovered inside the vehicle.
Okay, that's horrible though. That's low-key so horrible. I'm so sad, dude. Oh my god, no! Something was obviously very, very wrong, okay? Something must have obviously been very, very wrong in that moment, dude. I don't know what compelled him to do this, right? I don't know what compelled him to do this, but I also don't think the video should have been released to the wild like that, okay? Okay? Like, what he did was wrong, okay? Don't get me wrong. I think that's against the law, in fact. I think that's pretty much against the law. But what you should have done was call the police, not forward the video to 500 people and then social media pick up on it and it's cooked, okay?
His phone, officers found a short message addressed to his family, written earlier that morning, apologizing for the pain he felt he had caused them. The falling Gooner incident.
The fallen Gooner incident. Oh, boy.
On March 18th, 2011, a 32-year-old man returned to his small Milwaukee studio apartment after a long work shift. He dropped his keys on the counter, turned on his TV for background noise, and headed straight for the bathroom. A few minutes later, he decided he wanted to goon. He brought a small...
A few minutes later, he decided he wanted to goon. Very true, very right. If you have a work shift that is just horrible on you, you know what the best thing is against a bad work shift? Time to goon. Time to goon your day off and your day way away. Yes, gooning is a good way of releasing stress after all. Very true, but don't goon too much, okay?
Small stool from the living room and placed it beside the bathtub. He propped his phone upright against a shampoo bottle, playing a video he wanted to goon to. Based on the coroner's office reconstruction, he climbed onto the small...
Why do we have to climb onto the stool to do so? Hey, why do we... Why? Why can't we just sit down somewhere, goon, and be done with it? Why can't we just do that? Why can't we just be normal people and goon like normal people? Like, for For example, going to your bed and gooning, right? That's just how that usually goes. You have your phone, you have your little Twitter video, in my case, okay? And then you just go and do whatever you want, right? But no, we have to be on a stool, we have to goon on the stool, okay?
Stool so he could goon in a certain position, but the stool wasn't stable on the slippery bathroom tiles. While he was in action, the stool suddenly slid out from under him. He lost his balance instantly. He fell backward, hitting his head hard on the edge of the bathtub, and was knocked unconscious immediately. With no one else in the apartment to help him, he stayed on the floor without ever waking up. When he didn't show up for work the next morning, his co-workers requested a welfare check. The landlord entered the apartment and found the scene unchanged. The phone still playing, the stool...
No! Oh my god! Talk about the worst case scenario. You know what? The worst death isn't through, I don't know, drowning or burning alive or whatever. It's truly from gooning, falling from the stool that you were specifically gooning on for some reason, and then... And then you die, and then your landlord comes in and sees the goddamn video, and you with your D out, okay, and you're dead on the floor. GG.
Overturned, and the man lying on the bathroom floor where he had fallen. Paramedics were called to the scene, and they confirmed he had died from a head injury caused by the fall. The ladder incident on June 11th.
And if you really liked the video up until now, make sure you follow me at twitch.tv/SevereArachne so I can come and touch you in my Twitch chat. But for now, let's get back to the video.
On June 11th.
The ladder incident is next, guys. Oh my god, so far, it's been a goddamn ride, okay? It's been a goddamn ride, dude. Can I take any more? Can I take any more than this? I don't know.
2019, a 38-year-old man in rural Oregon carried an aluminum ladder behind his house and placed it against a tall pine tree.
What could you have possibly done to goon with this? How could you have... Why are we gooning like this? Why are we gooning like this, guys? I need to understand. What is the thought process? Guys, you know what? Tell me in the comments. What is your craziest goon story? What is the craziest position or potentially dangerous position you've ever gooned in? Tell me now in the comments, guys.
At the edge of his property. He often climbed the tree to get cell reception, and neighbors later reported that he had a habit of spending long periods alone outdoors. That afternoon, he set up the ladder in a secluded spot and climbed roughly 15 feet up, settling on a sturdy branch. He began...
15 feet on a sturdy branch. What in the entire world could potentially make you go, you know what? I am on this tree. I'm in the wildlife. It's time to goon. Like, what do you mean?
Engaging in gooning while seated on the branch, believing he was out of sight and in complete solitude. As the minutes passed, he shifted his weight repeatedly, bracing his foot against the tree trunk while using the other to maintain balance. The branch beneath him was stable, but the ladder he had climbed was not properly secured. At some point during his activity, his movement caused the ladder to tilt backward. Startled, he reached instinctively toward it, losing his balance on the branch in the process. Within seconds, he tumbled together with the ladder down the slope beneath the tree, striking the ground chest first. A hiker on a nearby trail heard the crash and discovered him unconscious beside the flattened ladder. Emergency services were called immediately, but despite resuscitation efforts, he was pronounced dead at the scene from blunt force trauma to the thorax, including multiple fractured ribs and cardiac injury. During the investigation, police found his phone, open browser tabs, and physical evidence confirmed.
No, not the Khalifa one. Not the Khalifa one. No!
He had been engaging in solitary sexual activity moments before the fall. The D-cut incident.
The D-cut incident! What are we doing? What are we doing, guys? What are we doing? What could have potentially made you want to get a goddamn knife out of your thing? You know what? You do you, bro. I'm not king shaming over here, but still!
July 14th, 2016, a 45-year-old man returned to his small apartment in Eastern...
You would not have me guessing a 45-year-old man would do this.
Europe. After a day of running errands, he set down his bags, turned on a small radio for background noise, and made his way to the bedroom. He retrieved a homemade metal device he had been experimenting with and brought it to the bed, arranging it carefully for use. Based on investigators' reconstruction, he attempted to use the device while
Oh no. Okay. Well, to be fair, a lot of people use this kind of thing. Okay. Not a problem. Hey, I don't have anything against usages of certain playthings, okay? I have nothing against that. I even myself. Never mind. Don't worry about that. But anyways, yes.
Sitting on the edge of the bed. The device was unstable and one of the metal
Why'd
parts
you draw
suddenly...
Why'd you draw it so perfectly, bro? Why'd you draw it so goddamn, like, accurately, man? Why? Why did we draw it like that?
Snapped under pressure. The broken piece caused a deep cut.
Since when do those kinds of things have broken pieces like that, by the way? Since when? Since when do they... Wait, is that... That should not be allowed! That should not be allowed! What do you mean?
To his groin. He tried to stop the bleeding, but the wound was severe and involved a major blood vessel. Alone in the apartment, he was unable to get help.
Oh my god. Oh my god. What do you do there? What do you do there? Yo, you're just cooked? You are just getting cooked? Like, what do you do? I guess, I don't know. Do bandages help in this case? I don't know. I don't know. How do you... Oh my god. I don't even want to know how quickly and how badly that must have hurt. Dude, that's horrifying.
Help or call emergency services. Within minutes...
My dick bleeding, help!
He lost consciousness due to rapid blood loss. When he didn't respond to friends who visited later that evening, a welfare check was requested. Authorities entered the apartment and found the scene
Oh my god. You would not catch me in the afterlife after this incident. You would not catch me in the afterlife. You would not catch me as a ghost. I just do not want to exist anymore. Like, just poof me out of existence. Just like that, like poof, you know? Out of existence, I don't exist. Nobody knows my existence. This never happened. I don't want to be associated with this ever again. Oh my god!
Changed. The device broken, and the man lying unconscious on the bed where he had been attempting to use the device. Paramedics...
Okay, but to be fair, the device shouldn't have any broken issues like that. It should have been completely plastic, okay? Like, what do you call the plastic that's like super gentle and could never cut anybody? Like something like that should be in it. There is no freaking way that there should ever be anything like actually that would be able to cut you. Actually, like that shouldn't be a thing, okay?
Confirmed that he had died from hemorrhagic shock caused by the laceration. The obsessed Gooner incident.
The obsessed Gooner incident. What could have possibly gone wrong here?
October 14th, 2020, a 33-year-old man woke up in a small apartment in the city. His nights had become sleepless, spent scrolling through videos and live streams of a single adult performer. He believed...
Oh no, it's a stalker Gooner!
Was secretly communicating with him. To him, every post, every...
Oh no. This is bad.
glance at the camera was a coded message meant only for him. Investigators later found that he had stopped going to work, cut of his friends and family, and had isolated himself almost entirely. Notes, screenshots, and printed messages littered his apartment, all meticulously annotated with interpretations of the performance.
Now, right? This can totally happen. This is so goddamn dangerous, bro. This is so goddamn dangerous. Like, shit like this can go south so quickly, man.
Signals. Over time, his fixation had escalated. He convinced himself that he needed to meet her in person to prove his loyalty. That morning, he packed a backpack with essentials, including a handwritten letter and several printed screenshots, and left his apartment. He traveled by public transit to the city where he believed she was filming, following directions pieced together from interviews and online.
Where he believed she was even... So he didn't even have a correct location. He was just mapping these out based on events.
Online posts. For hours, he wandered near the area, checking security cameras and rehearsing what he would say. He refused to contact anyone for help, believing that any interference would ruin everything. As evening approached, he attempted to climb a fire escape to get a closer look at the studio where he believed she was working. Surveillance footage later showed him pause midway, hesitate, then lose his footing. Emergency responders arrived too late. He was already dead. The medical exam...
What? So no gooning took place? He literally just wanted to meet his 18 plus e-girl or whatever that is on the hub, and he just somehow, dude, that I was expecting, like, I don't know, him like at the top of a thingy, and then he just like goes to her filming or some shit, and then he loses footing and dies. Or something like that. I legit thought that would happen. But no, this is the most uneventful. I legit did not expect him just trying to get up to the thing and then somehow losing his footing and like falling to his death. That was not what I expected what I thought was gonna happen in the last freaking thing.
The death and accidental fall, noting that exhaustion, sleep deprivation, and distraction from obsessive fixation had contributed to his fall. Law enforcement later confirmed.
So yeah, in short, he gooned himself to death, but not in the way that you think he would have gooned to himself to his death. Basically, before, he just gooned so hard, he couldn't take it. He went to go and, like, from sleep deprivation, he lost his footing and, like, died. Just like that, GG. That's what happens, guys. So don't be obsessive. Don't do this kind of stuff, okay? Be a good gooner and goon to your videos. Or if you have a girlfriend or a boyfriend, just go to your girlfriend and boyfriend. Simple as that, dude. It's that simple.
The adult performer had no knowledge of his existence.
Yeah, no.
Had never communicated with him and played no role in the accident.
Wow, that's insane. Yeah, okay, well, that was the worst Gooner deaths ever. And as you can see, there's also a part 2, apparently. So if you want me to check out the part 2 as well, make sure you type that into the comments, okay? And tell me your worst gooning incident as well, all right? Make sure you do that. Hey, I need to know it. I need to know it. I have had a bunch of bad gooning accidents as well myself, dude. I have actually, you know what? I'll share one of them. I'll share one of them right now. All right, guys. Basically, what I did is I was just gooning, having a good time with a moving object, okay? With a moving object that starts vibrating, okay? Like crazy, okay? So basically, I was having a good time, right, gooning? Right. And then all of a sudden, my mom comes in, okay? In a rush, I couldn't turn that thing off, okay? I couldn't turn that thing off. Now, I hope to God she didn't hear it, okay? I hope to God she didn't hear it. I was just having a poker face, okay? I was having a poker face. I was trying to turn it off, under the blanket. I was trying to turn it off, and I couldn't turn it off, okay? But she just conversed with me like usual. So let's hope, I'm hoping still to this day that she did not, clock what was happening underneath the blankets, okay? To this day, I hope she was not clocking what the hell was happening underneath the blankets, okay? So yeah, that was one of my worst gooning incidents. Now I hope to hear yours in the comments so that I'm not the only dumbass that which has ever happened something crazy to when they were gooning, of course. Now I will see you guys on the other side. Bye-bye. And that was the worst gooner deaths ever. I hope you guys enjoyed this video as usual. And of course, if you did like the video, make sure you like, subscribe, and turn on that bell notification so you never miss another video. And of course, as always, make sure you head over to my Twitch at twitch.tv/JaveeraArachne if you want me to touch you. And if you want to goon. Cause I know you be gooning, alright? I know you guys are little gooners, alright? But yes, make sure you also tell me that you're from YouTube so I can touch you by the balls, okay? And pull you into my basement. Okay, but yes. And as always, thank you so much to all of my Patreon supporters. You guys are literally the crutch that helps me to live, okay? Thank you guys so much. I appreciate your support, your every single message on my Patreon posts as well. It makes me super happy to see them. Thank you so much to Asadai, Connor, Quinny, Yumi Alphaloon, Tao Aku, Moket, Draxon, Lakers Absent, Oldcoder78, LEC, and Dara McMahon. Thank you guys so much for all of the love and support that you give me over on the Patreon. I appreciate that very much. And if you want to be part of that, make sure you head over into my description and click on the Patreon and pledge whatever you feel fit. But until now, guys, I will see you guys in the next one. Bye.